Hello YouTube, time for a little update on the Fireblade track bike. On my new GoPro, I now have a proper GoPro. So yeah, back to front on the bike. What am I changing at the minute? I've made some crash bobbins for the rear axle. So I've got a nice little pull cup on that side and a very small plug on this side, just to act as a place to lift the rear axle up. Put the tyre warmers on, made that on the lathe at work. It's got an M6 stud in between. I'm going to make a battery tray today, hopefully. Something going on outside. I've drained the water out of the engine, so I didn't crack the cases. Hopefully, I need to double check that hasn't happened. I need to, put the engine back together and put the carbs on it today as well. I've rebuilt one of the calipers. I've got some new titanium bolts for the calipers. I've obviously got my new RCS 19 master cylinder, an RCS 17 master cylinder from Japan. See my Japanese videos. I've got a lithium battery to pop in, super light lithium battery. I have a chain from Henry Murray, free of charge, nearly. I've got some wheel bearings, some Japanese spec wheel bearings to go in to my new wheels, which I'll show you. These have been to the powder coaters. I've gone for gloss white. Here's the big unveil. I think they're absolutely fucking fresh. So I've gone for the anodized red side facing valves. They did a good job at masking off the bearing faces and the flat face for the discs, so I'll tap those out, make sure they're all gravy, good to go together. The rear wheels here, it's just as good. I use Morley Brothers in Milton. Very expensive. I've got a new seat unit and subframe, so I'm going to mount this. It's a bit of a pain in the arse on these. You got you don't just have 4 bolts, you've got 4 bolts and then a sort of big castellated nut you need to remove. And if I haven't got the castellated socket and I can't make one, then that might not be happening today. But this has got a lovely powder coated subframe underneath. You can't see a fucking thing, but it's really nice condition and it's made pretty well. Pretty sure it's an S33 because it's got the 2 slots on the side, but whatever. I'm going to pop that on, dress the wheels, so do the discs and bearings and stuff. So that's sort of the end of my efforts today. I'll give you a summary at the end. Hopefully get it running nice. Should run now with got non-sticky carbs. Yeah, what was wrong with the carbs? The carbs, I put them all together. When I whipped open the throttle, they wouldn't close nicely. They didn't, it wouldn't flick back on the springs. So I soaked it in petrol, thinking it might be that was the wrong decision. I shouldn't have done that. I then soaked them in WD-40, and that did free them up, and now they do flick back as you expect. So I disassembled those to get all the rubbers out of them. So I'm going to put them back together now and put them in the bike. Put some coolant in it, new battery. Got a new battery tray, making up my own custom thing. Get a subframe on here. I'm going to make it like a motorbike by the end of this little stint of the Christmas break. That's why I'm hanging. It's Christmas. And I want to kind of get away. Yeah, then I've just got rubber to buy, suspension to do. I've got no rear shock. If anyone's got a Fireblade rear shock that's nice, like not a stock one, let me know. And yeah, I might do some time lapses of me fucking about in the garage, but it's going to be a slow pace today. I'm hanging. Merry Christmas. A little update on the subframe. So a Honda CBR900 subframe. The top right bolt has a castellated nut and then a sort of threaded grub screw with a hole inside. Allows you to sort of pinch the subframe in place. You get that on a lot of engine mounting bolts. I haven't seen it on a subframe, but it might be common for Hondas, I don't know. Luckily I have a castellated socket that was the right size, and then there's a big, I think 12mm Allen key in there, so I use a 12mm bolt in a drill to tighten that up against the subframe. Pinch it with a castellated bolt, nice and tight, real tight actually, really hard to get off. You needed a bar, and then put your nuts in. Always tighten from the nut, obviously. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. This is the subframe, so it's black, powder coated. It's been de-lugged a lot more, so there's no bracket on this side for a pillion mount. Powder coating's quite nice, not as good as my wheels obviously. Annoyingly, it's got these brackets here for the rear seat unit that foul against my new tin lithium battery mount, so this needs to go there, sort of a couple of inches back, so I need to do some chopping. I left my angle grinder at my other garage, so that's sort of the end of that one. Just put it on really, so it's done, it's not lying on the floor. I'll leave the seat unit off so I don't damage it. And then moving on to the carbs now. Talking of a montage. But yeah, a piece pissed on. Cleaned out all the threads on here and stuff. All the usual stuff in here. Because I'm not an animal. Is there anything else of interest? No? We're looking at the carbs now. The lighting's pretty poor in here, but all the diaphragms are the carbs and the choke sliders off. The problem I have with them is the spring back here. Oh, my thumb, right. Wasn't happening. It looked like there was a damper on it. So you like go wide open throttle, let go, and you see those butterflies slowly turning to shut, even with no cable connected. The cables are brand new, although they're not as good as the originals, to be fair. Yeah, it's just a bit of WD-40 on the little pivot points in here. Soak that loads, and it loosened up and freed up, so I don't have to break the carbs, which is good because I'm chronically lazy. Same for the sliding pins on the choke. They all now spring back a lot nicer. They needed a little bit of wire wool on the outside and a bit of oil just to make sure they function right. Yeah, coming together. Just one set of carbs rebuilt, the sliders on. I forgot, I think there was a spring in the box, and I think it goes here. It'll probably go anywhere. But it looks right there, so I've just guessed. I'm pretty sure that's where I went. The spring returns, everything looks fine. So I'll pop those on. I'd like to start it. That might be more hassle than it's worth. Got myself a bit stuck here, so I've taken the inlet rubbers off the head, and there's 2 of each. I don't know whether you want the clip facing to the furthest frame beam or the closest, what would be easiest to access. So, and they're not all like, this one's really close to the thermostat housing, so I'll Google it. I've also found some interesting stamps on the head. This here, look, I've got 078. Could be tuned. The answer is, not that anyone cared. The inlet rubbers actually say carb up, so you know this is the carb side, not the inlet side. And this bolt on the bottom, the clamp bolt at the bottom, that wants to face left if it's on the left 2, or right if it's on the right 2. So this one wants to go there or there. So I did get it all wrong. These are going to be fucking hard to get on. It's cold, and these are cold, so I might pop these in a jug of boiling water for a few minutes before I put them on. Just from previous experience, working with hard rubbers, just a waste of energy. So next little update, I've been working away on getting the carbs into the bike. That's now complete, carbs are in. Airbox on. I forgot on this bike you need to put the inlet rubbers on the carbs, tighten up those Phillips screws, and then put the carbs and the rubbers on the engine after heat gunning the rubbers, otherwise it won't go on. Do that and you'll get it on. I've made some modifications away from factory in here. So the old fuel line is like this sort of shape for the tank. Absolutely rock hard, like you can barely squeeze it. So it's getting more brittle. So what I've done is I've added this, and this is all fresh pipe. Obviously this is clear, so I can use it for diagnosing whether there's fuel flow or not. And this is for the tank petcock. It's obviously new rubber, nice and soft. It's neoprene, it's the right stuff. But it's a lot longer, so I can now lift the tank up and out, like rotate around, and either just sit the tank there, or and then just disconnect it with more room. The short one, you get a stock, is like, it's quite hard to get your hand in to get it off. Same with the carbs. I can now lift the bank of carbs right out and keep the fuel connected, so I haven't got like disconnecting the fuel pipes to get the carbs out of the way. Just one of those things. I think it'll work, as long as the pipes don't kink or melt, it'll be fine. So I've thought a bit about the routing, sort of keep it all in a cold zone. Might cable tie some stuff to it and just double check we're going to get that right. I actually dropped the bike off the stands, the axle stands. That was quite exciting, but I'm really strong, so I saved it. The throttle cables are in, they're like snapping back, lovely, flowing nicely. Now, I don't know, running out of energy, I'm going to get kebab from Railway Grill, and then fuck about something else, I might put the wheel bearings in the freezer and dress the wheels, discs and bearings and the wheels, because they're nice and powder coated. I do need to redo this battery tray down here, but I haven't got my angle grinder, can't really be arsed. I don't want to run the engine because I can't be asked to fill it with coolant and drain the coolant. Just hear it run, and I haven't got a silencer on as well, so it'd be mega loud. I have bought a silencer from A16 Exhausts, but it's late. Good guys there, but yeah, they've let me down this time, so what can you do? Will there be another update? Can I be asked? Yeah, maybe. You're worth it. You are. You sat at home, covered in Pringles, half dressed. Yeah, alright, well, I'll get back to you. Don't rush me. Don't fucking rush me. Wheels. Onto the wheels. So, from the powder coaters, these have been shot blasted, these threads. It's worth running to tap down all of them and then just tidying up the bolts and the discs, get them on. And then, yeah, check there's no powder coating on the inner lip of this race where the bearing goes, and then we'll press the bearings in. The bearings are in the freezer. So yeah, we'll get a heat gun on my sister's hairdryer on this. Thank you, Georgia. She doesn't actually know I borrowed that. And do both wheels, and then we'll have them on the bike up there. Another montage. Still on wheels. These are all bolted in now. Wheel bearing time. So I've done the first front wheel bearing. I found a lovely nut that is just the right size for the hole. So, and it's proud of the sort of white bit as well, so I can use that. I always use a mallet because I like its broad sort of face for hitting, and it's nice and heavy. Yeah, I freeze my bearings and I put a heat gun on the outer race, and these are lovely. It's been sand, it's been shot blasted, but I haven't taken away too much material because it still went in the right kind of interference fit. It didn't just fall in. I've had these in the past where I've shot blasted it too much and they have just fallen in, so you have to like just send a punch over a couple of marks, it'll fall out, put a bit of a retaining compound in, but these are sorted. That went in nice. It was a good 6 solid hits and it changed tone and it was at the bottom. So flip over, do the other one. For fuck's sake, don't forget this thing in the middle, otherwise you'll be buying a new set of wheel bearings. I've actually never done that, but I'm a fucking legend. So. Oh, a bit of Lewis Capaldi on the radio. Lovely. Cool, that's all good. Wheels are done. Took a bit longer than expected, it's quite dark now. This is the front. Nice and true. I think they're white, it looks good. I've always liked white wheels, I think it just looks mint. Absolutely mint. Oh, the front brake reservoir's on. The 17mm radial with this little reservoir holder. That might not work, you need to have a fairing on to really check if that works. And then the rear's in as well. So again, it's pure white, nice and clean looking, as a track bike should be. So I'll get get some rubber for it and she's good to go. I haven't spanned that one yet because I haven't got a rear shock, so I can't hold the rear end up in the air. If anyone has a rear shock, fucking tell me. What now? Rebuild a front caliper, pop the calipers on, tighten up the axles to give the bearings one last squeeze into their final position. Got to put some rubber seals in on the bearings, and that's the tyres, the wheels done. Go bed, I think. So the final update in this video, start from the front. Front wheels are in, all assembled. The titanium screws are in, the other calipers made up. That one wasn't built because it had a nicked hydraulic seal. So this is just waiting for rubber. The brake master's in, there's no brake lines yet. So I need to buy, I think, banjo and a couple of lines. But I think it looks great. I like this little mount which I've assembled, which I got from Japan. I put the rear master cylinder on just to sort of check I had the right bolts and stuff to do it. I put a new clip on, a little clear reservoir here and a little handmade sort of spigot on the end to cap it off. This is Tygon XL60, which I know works in this environment. If you get some of the green HRC kit ones can go cloudy if you use the wrong fluid. This is a tray for the battery, which sits in here. And yeah, the back was sort of velcroed in here, but there's no clearance. Those sort of cutouts you see there, those marks on the back, there's no clearance for these brackets on this subframe. So I'm going to do a bit of fabrication work on that. There's a big gaping hole in the middle of the bike, you'll notice, because there's no rear shock. Still looking for one of those. Yeah, the rear axle's all built up, new bearing in here, 2 new bearings in the wheel, new dust seals either side. I've just gently put on the new chain that Henry kindly provided, because it I needed to know the length. This is off of an old R1, so it's got a really long swing, and I'm being the first bike to have a stacked gearbox. So yeah, loads of spare chain there. Well, that's basically it. I've been a bit lazy really, to be honest. Just, yeah, banging new fuel pipes in, new subframe on. It's been good. I've had a lot of things arriving in the post, and they're now all on the bike. So I've got a lot of like empty boxes around the garage and stuff. Look at my face. Yeah, we're nearly there. We're very nearly there. So a few big purchases left to go and to get it rolling. A rear shock. It's gonna be expensive. A good rear shock. Rubber. It's never cheap. And then get that fabrication thing done, get it running, hear it run properly when the silencer arrives, get a real sort of thorough run on it. Brake lines, brake lines are £100, so the fluids are 20 quid. I mean, there's a lot of lumps to come, but I'm going to save buying the wheels until the very last minute, and I can't buy a shock at the minute because I can't find one. So the order is, when I find a rear shock, buy it. As soon as that arrives, buy brake lines, which are readily available, buy tyres, and my tyre guy will come here and fit them if I give him the loose wheels. And that's the sort of logic gate going forward. Everything here will sit here fine for like another 6 months if that's what it takes, but I want to buy a posh rear shock, and because they're not a new bike, you just got to wait for the spares to become available. So I don't know when the next update will be, and I'm not that interesting. I don't do any interesting things, so it might be a bit of a dry spell, 2024 dry spell. But it's good you need a dry spell because you're watching too much YouTube. So I'm doing you a favour. Thanks for watching.